everybody, I'm Phil, and thanks for riding with me. Today I'm riding with a special guest. Give a great big riding with Phil welcome to Madie Stock.
Woo!
Hey Madie.
Hi Phil.
Thanks for riding with me.
Of course.
A little windy today, huh?
Yeah, we got some waves, but hopefully it's not as choppy when we get to that one bottleneck area.
That is true. So, let me catch up to you here so we can hear each other. I think this microphone goes something like 500 yards. No,
oh, wow.
100 yards. Football field.
Oh, that's fancy.
Yeah, so as long as we stay within 100 yards of one another, we should be able to hear each other the whole time.
Sounds like a plan.
I gotta be honest, it's the first time having the microphone on while standing up. So I'm worried that I'm gonna fall in and ruin my microphone. But hey, you know what? I can get another one, right?
Exactly.
So I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm just gonna worry about paddling out here on Barkcamp Lake. And thought maybe I'd just ask you a couple questions, if that's okay.
Of course.
Wait a minute, I gotta set my watch. Whoa, I almost lost it there. I don't know what happened. It wasn't the wind. I just started leaning.
The water is kind of trippy though, because you're trying to go one way and it's going the other way.
Yeah, it must be the wind. We'll get used to it once we get going here a little bit.
Exactly.
And maybe when we get out into the open a little more, maybe it'll smooth out a bit.
Yeah.
If not, I'll just go down to my knees.
There you go.
No harm in that.
You don't have your knee pads though.
Huh?
You don't have the knee pads though.
No, but that's okay. So this is the first time you've seen me standing up, huh?
Yeah, since that first time.
Oh, that's right. I did stand up, but I didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, Madie guided me through standing up for the very first time. And then once I got up, I went right back down. I wasn't ready for paddling yet, but hey, it was...
You got a couple strokes in though.
Yeah, a few baby strokes, yeah. Then I came out the next day and just paddled the lights out, standing up. Got some videos of that. In fact, let's show that clip. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll show the clip where I first stood up without Madie. If you're watching on the or listening on the podcast, you're not going to be able to see that, but you can go to my YouTube page and you can check it out, me standing up. All right, so I got the camera facing out because I wanted to more or less focus on Madie today. It's your day, Madie.
Woohoo!
So we had a beautiful day today. Then we get out here, this big black cloud comes. I said, nope, not today, Satan.
There's a few of them.
Oh.
But they're moving.
Few of them, but they're passing.
Yeah, it's pretty over there.
I don't know why I'm feeling so unsteady today. Bend my knees a little bit more, maybe.
It's calmer out here, too.
Is it calmer out there? I'll come out to you.
Yeah, it's not as choppy.
If you hear a big splash, honestly, that might be the last thing you hear from me because it probably would ruin my microphone. But I'll let Madie do all the talking if that happens.
At least you have two.
What's that?
At least you have two microphones.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we could share a microphone, I guess. All right. So, Madie is a Christian, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. And do you mind telling just a little bit about how you came to know Jesus? Do you remember? You've been since you were young, or was there a change in your life, or?
Well, I grew up Catholic.
Grew up Catholic, okay.
We went to Catholic church every Sunday and on the holidays and all that. And then we stopped going because I don't really know why, but just we kind of fell out of it. And then when I was a little older, I just started, diving back into it. Not really the Catholic religion, but more just Christianity as a whole. And I realized I resonated with that a lot more than the Catholic guidelines, even though they do, intersect. But I just wanted the more broad sense of it, I guess. And yeah, ever since then, just been rocking and rolling with it.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I got on my case many years ago because I would badmouth Catholics. Well, not Catholics, but just the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
And I had nothing good to say about them until one day I'm just sitting somewhere, I don't remember where I was, and God just started showing me all these wonderful things that the Catholic Church does. Mm-hmm. And they really do a lot of wonderful things. And it humbled me. And I have not spoken badly about them, about the Catholic Church since. Now, I don't agree with everything that they say. Like, I don't believe that Peter was the first pope. I don't even think we need a pope. We have Jesus. He certainly doesn't need a substitute. But, that's not enough to just cast away all the good that they do. So what do you think?
Yeah, that was kind of one of the main things that kind of sent me away almost from the Catholic Church, was just the concept of a pope. I just don't understand why we need just one person who is the closest thing to God when that's not what I believe in. I just believe there's God and there's Jesus, and then there's priests, pastors, and preachers who spread his word. But I don't think we need one person kind of just being the main go-to guy.
Yeah. And let me remind everybody that this girl is 22 years old. Okay? The wisdom of this young lady at this age, the maturity of this young lady at this age, it's pretty amazing.
Well, thank you.
And certainly Holy Spirit's been doing a good work in her, and I'm sure it will continue until the day of the Lord. For those of you who may not know, Madie is my stepdaughter. I am married to Madie's mom, Tanya. And Madie is Tanya's second child, the middle child.
The favorite. You forgot to add that one.
But you know what? She doesn't have the attitude that a middle child typically has. And I guess I better say sorry to my son Brandon for saying that, in case he's listening. All right. I don't know about you, Madie, but I feel like I'm just paddling away and not going anywhere. Yeah,
it's a little, I think it's because the water's so deep, it's just kind of hard to get some ground going.
Yeah, you're probably right. Well.
But it's not as choppy, so we'll take that.
True. Well, I'm going to try to catch up to you. I feel like I got my balance down a little bit better now. I don't know what it was when I first started out, but I felt real uneasy, but feeling pretty good right now.
There were some pretty big waves back there, honestly.
Yeah. We're definitely fighting the current for sure.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It'd probably be easier to come back then. And there's always that spot when it narrows out up here that it gets a little less choppy. Maybe I ought to just get on my knees until then. Yeah, because I'm starting to get far away from you and want to make sure the microphone still works. But don't slow down for me. I'll catch up to you.
I'll just paddle like this.
So I don't know what I told you about this podcast, what the idea is. I know I told you a little bit.
Yeah.
But, also just in case somebody's here for the first time, just give a quick little rundown. It's called Riding with Phil. And there's 3 parts to the ride. You're experiencing part one right now, the paddleboard. Another part is riding my bike, mostly on the St. Clairsville bike trail, and I hope they get it fixed pretty soon. They redid the tunnel. And then the other part is riding in my truck. And you might say, how can you record a podcast riding in your truck? Well, it's amazing the thoughts that come to mind when you're riding for hours at a time. So be looking for those podcasts, and then occasionally I'll have someone on, like Madie here. Got some kayakers going by. All right, had to catch my balance again there. Man, this lake is a little bit choppy. I've seen worse, but for some reason, it's affecting my balance today. So, we get up here closer to Madie and we'll talk a little more. I gotta stop being a wimp and start paddling harder, huh? Ain't that right, Madie?
Yep.
You weren't supposed to agree to that.
I didn't hear it. I just agreed to agree.
I said, I need to stop being a wimp and catch up to you.
Oh, well then, yeah. You don't want
She
me to
agrees
beat you.
again. All right, I'm almost there. I'm gonna paddle a little bit harder here. I forgot which medium I was on. I'm not pedaling, I'm paddling. So Madie's paddleboarding story is pretty cool, I think. A few weeks ago, we went to the Hocking Hills, and I got my paddleboard in April of this year. I'd been out a few times, and we were going to Hocking Hills, and I said, I want to take it, and we'll rent kayaks for the girls. Well, Kaylee, Tanya's oldest daughter, didn't want to, and then Madie and Ashlyn did want to. And when we got there, I saw the paddleboards. I said, hey, would you two like to paddleboard instead of kayak? And they both said, yeah. So, you mind if I tell the story, Madie?
Oh, go for it.
All right. So, I'm helping them, thinking they don't know what they're doing. Ha! I should have known better. But anyway, I get them on the paddleboards, and I start getting myself ready to go out, and I'm thinking I'm going to walk them through standing up and, teach them how to paddle and all that. And I turn around, and they're both standing up, and they're both paddling, and they're just all on their way. Like it was nothing, like he'd done it 1,000 times before. So that was a pretty cool story. But we got back to the cabin that night. That was a Sunday. Yeah, I took that day off of church. And we get back to the cabin, and Madie gets on Amazon and orders herself a paddleboard. And there it is, right in front of us here. This is much calmer here.
Yes.
All right, let me catch up to you.
It's easier to paddle as well.
Huh?
It's easier to paddle as well.
Yeah.
Feels like you're actually making distance.
She was immediately hooked. And we've been out a couple times together, and our goal is to get all the way to the other side of the lake, which we may try that tonight. I don't know if you'll be with us that whole time. And the way my feet are feeling right now, I can tell you I'm probably going to be on my knees for a little bit. It's just, I'm sure part of it is just my own nervousness. So I'm still getting the hang of standing up here, and I don't know. I was out here one night. It was much windier than this, and I was just flying all over the place. Not feeling like I was going to fall. I think it might have been a lot of adrenaline too. So it was one of those times when I had first stood up. But for some reason, this is, I don't know, it's getting the best of me. You might be getting too far away, Madie.
Oh, here we go.
It's not your fault, that's my fault. She's going to take a little break, so I got to catch up to her now. So that was a great story about, how you embrace Christianity, because honestly, I didn't know it. I just know one day I look and you're talking about reading the Bible and you got a shirt, I think a shirt that said something about God, and I'm like, all right, this girl's coming around.
Still a really good shirt.
Huh?
That's still a really good shirt that I got you.
Yes, you did get me a very good shirt. You got me 2 shirts.
Yes.
One
my
says,
theme now.
Need an ark, I know a guy, Noah. And the other one, I actually used the other shirt in a sermon a couple weeks ago.
Yay!
I said, when life gets cray-cray, Jesus is the way. Which is what the shirt says that she bought me. But yeah, I'm really glad to hear that, Madie. It's keep growing. It's amazing what God will do for you in your life.
I agree.
Of course, well, we know that it's not always easy. God never promised everything would be easy, but he did promise it would be worthwhile. I don't know if I had the boat pointed in the right direction when she just popped up like it was nothing. I kind of steady myself, go up slow, and she just, boop, pops right up. Don't blink or you'll miss it. But Madie was also a cheerleader in high school and in college. And when did you start cheering?
I think I started later than most people. So I was like 12 years old when I took it actually seriously. But I always did those cheer clinics that would come to school, and I was not good at all. So I had a lot of growing to do.
Okay. 12 years old, and that was 10 years ago. Wow, you were pretty amazing for only having 10 years experience.
Thanks.
I would have thought you were doing it a lot longer. So let me think here. You were 9 years old when I first met your mom?
Yes.
9 years old.
Because I was 10 at the wedding.
Yeah. Okay. And the first time I met the girls, we went to Pizza Hut. And Madie was showing off a little bit. And it was so funny because Tanya says, Madison Renee. And she snapped right into attention. I laughed. I have never forgotten that because it was just so funny how she just turned around and snapped right to attention. Moms have that effect on their kids, I guess. Yeah, I know if I ever heard my middle name, I knew I was in trouble. So, did I hear that you and your sister were trying to start a Bible study at Ohio University? Is that right?
We were both going to join one.
Oh, join one, okay.
Yes, and but something about it was just a little, not to say sketchy, but it was kind of like a cult, if you will. So
yeah.
We decided
I looked it up.
stay on our own.
I'm not going to mention the name, in all fairness. We're not here to call people out or groups out. We just called out the Catholics, but but we don't want to call this group out. I mean, they're doing a good thing, but there are groups that, especially student groups that can be quite legalistic. Dress a certain way, act a certain way, talk a certain way, and the Bible I read talks about freedom. That it was for freedom that Christ set you free. That's what Galatians chapter 5 says. And there's no freedom in legalism. Sure, you can get yourself walking the straight and narrow. And you know what Jesus called those people? Pharisees. And he never spoke very nicely about the Pharisees. So I understand, I'm not saying grace without discipleship. But my goodness, if you have discipleship without grace, which is kind of what this group had, that's just as big a problem. Because grace is important. So do you have a favorite Bible verse?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
But I do really like, okay, it's kind of like basic, I guess, but the one that's on Sweet Frog, when I wear my double XL Sweet Frog t-shirt, the Fully Rely on God.
Oh, okay.
Big fan of that one. Even though it's quite common, it's just like, I like how universal it is. Like, no matter what situation you're in, you can just remember those 4 little words and it makes a big impact.
It sure does. But I need to be honest with you. That statement is fantastic, but it's not from the Bible.
Really?
Yeah, it's not.
Wow.
Now, the Bible certainly teaches in many, many ways to fully rely on God. But that statement itself, a lot of people think it is in the Bible. I mean, it belongs in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually not in the Bible.
Wow. Sweet Frog
Yep.
has some false marketing then.
There are many things that we say that we think are in the Bible that are not. And then there's many things that we say we don't realize they came from the Bible.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard I escaped by the skin of my teeth? Mm-hmm. That's from the book of Job.
Oh.
Yeah.
Would you look at that?
And how about God only helps those who help themselves? You
Yeah.
heard that one?
I've heard that one before.
Okay, well, we'll unhear it because it's not in the Bible. That was
Jeez.
Benjamin Franklin who said that.
Oh.
Yep. A leopard never changes its spots. That's in the Bible.
No way.
That's in Jeremiah. How about, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, so that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life? What do you think, Bible or not?
I want to say yes, but I don't think it is.
It is.
Okay.
It's one of the most popular verses in the Bible, John 3:16.
Oh, yep. Yep, I know that one.
That's actually how my faith really got started. I was watching some kind of sporting event, probably the 1976 Olympics. Okay, I was watching with my dad because I remember it was a skiing event, so it must have been the Olympics. But also back then there was this thing called the worldwide of ABC's world. I can't remember what the term was. Worldwide sports or anyway, somebody can correct me. I don't know what it is, but anyway, there was a guy like off in the peanut gallery with this guy skiing, and it just says John 3:16. So I said to my dad, "What does John 3:16 mean?" He said, "What?" And I pointed to the sign. He goes, "Oh, John 3:16," and he told me what it meant. And I said, "Who's this guy named Jesus? What are you talking about?" And he was waiting for me to ask that question because he spent, I don't know, probably a half hour, maybe more. Seemed like 2 days to me as a 6-year-old, but he started telling me about Jesus. And later that year, for Christmas, I got a book about Jesus that explained who he was. And then I just kept trying to figure out who this guy was. But let me tell you, at that time, I did not know that Jesus, I knew he was the Son of God, but I did not know that he was God in the flesh. And I didn't know that until I was 29 years old. So anyway, that's just a brief understanding of how I got started. And you know what, Maddie, just talking, we're farther than I realized.
I know, that's the cove we normally go in.
I cannot believe this.
We're almost to a mile. We have a quarter mile to go.
Quarter mile to go for a mile? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
And the dock is right up ahead. So
I see
think,
it, yeah.
I think we're doing it today.
Well, there's the cove where we usually turn around. And this is a lot calmer now, too.
Yeah.
So last summer, I had this idea of riding with Phil when I was riding my bike with Caitlin, my daughter, a lot. And Tanya was gracious enough to get me a GoPro for Christmas, and I got a bike mount. And then I thought, this spring I'm just going to go out and record and talk like this. But I had every intention of preaching and teaching. And then one day, it was early in the morning, I just woke up, had a dream, didn't really understand it. And all of a sudden these thoughts start coming to mind. And I knew it was God speaking to me. He's like, you got a paddleboard, ride with Phil. You got a truck, you go to drive 40 minutes to church, ride with Phil. And I'm like, yeah, RWP, ride with Phil, 3 letters and 3 different, what's the word I'm looking for? Mediums, 3 different types. Yeah, medium's not a good word. So, let me see how we are on time. Well, we're at 23 minutes that we've been talking. So got a couple more minutes. Let me just ask this question. You got any questions for me? Anything that you really want to know?
That's a good question for me to ask questions.
If you don't, that's okay. I might have to catch up to you a little bit so I can hear you better, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's on me, not on you. I think I'm in your wake. I don't know. Did you ever see the movie Top Gun?
No.
Oh, gosh, you're killing me, kid.
Sadly not. Not a big movie watcher.
Huh?
Not a big movie watcher.
Oh. Yeah, maybe your sister's seen it.
Oh, get away.
Anyway, in Top Gun, it's from the 80s. I keep forgetting I'm 34 years older than you. But anyway, 2 fighter pilots, they're doing some kind of competition, and the main star goes behind the jet of the other guy, and his engine goes out because he got caught in his jet fuel, exhaust, and it caused his engine to go out, and they ended up crashing. They ejected in time, but it was a sad ending. But anyway,
oh man,
I was coming up behind you and I was getting in your wake. I was like, I didn't realize a paddleboard can make so much wake. It started twisting me and tossing me a little bit.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, I'm blaming that, but it's probably my own balance.
Hey, you've made it almost a mile on your feet.
Yeah, I know.
That's some good
I think
stuff.
This is the longest I've ever gone standing up, and as I said, it was because we've been talking, and well, I'm not going to put you on the spot if you don't have any burning questions, but I just want to, if I can, give you some advice. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Some easy advice. There's a lot of people that go through this world. They believe in God, they know God, but they don't take time to really know Him. Mm-hmm. And by that I mean read the Bible, try to understand what He's all about, go to church, and gosh, these days though, I don't encourage people to go to church unless they can find a really good gospel teaching, Bible believing church, because so many churches these days are all about your performance and legalism, and can't believe how rampant it is. But anyway, do those things, and even in a legalistic church, you're going to learn about Jesus, but they're comfortable saying, hey, I went to church Sunday, but then they never really experience what Jesus has for them. So I encourage you to really take time to not only ask God what He has for you, like what kind of gifts that He has for you, and tell Him that you want to know Him better. And the reason I'm telling you this is because that's what I did.
Yeah.
People think, oh, you're so smart, Phil. No, I just asked Jesus. I said, I want to know you better. Teach me. And He did. So, in your life, make sure you do that.
Will do. Thank you for the advice.